Well, it is the 8th of May, and I am just happy that I'm heading into the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness for the first time this year. So we decided yesterday where to go. I had a couple of days off from work, but I've never been up here this early. So I looked and I saw there were hardly any permits taken for today, any place in the Boundary Waters, but I've only got 2 days to go. So where can I get in, find a spot, do some fun stuff, and then still be able to get out fast enough on Friday so I can get back and see my first grandchild. So we took a look, and voila, we ended up at Lake One, a lake I've been to several times, but never with this few people around. It is amazing. The Minnesota Fishing Opener actually opens this weekend, so nobody's in the water right now, which is so cool. So you can see Lake One. Here's where we are. If you ever come here in the regular part of the year, you will know that this place is packed. I suppose I should grab my gear before I get down there. So anyway, as we mentioned, I got like 2 nights, that's it. So Lake One it is. It's a beautiful day here in Ely. I'm so looking forward to the paddle. This is our first trip with Ryder into the wilderness. I paddled her a little bit over the winter, which was easy to do. Refurbished her, but we'll talk about her a little bit more as we go on and the story of Winona Ryder. But as we spin around and take a look, there we are. The wilderness starts as soon as I hit the water. It's actually on the other side is where the BWCAW starts. And we're gonna paddle that way and get into Lake One. All right, we've made it. We are on Lake Two. During COVID, I camped the next island over. I always wanted to try this one because I got a view of the portage, so I get to see things happening. I don't mind seeing people go by. I always like to wave. But it's a nice camp. It's not great, but I really like the rock sitting out on the edge here. Nice island. So we're gonna unload and get things going. All right, I'm gonna try out my new water thing. I got this because they quit making my Thermarest cot pieces. So the pieces I couldn't order and they broke. So they sent me a gift card for Thermarest did for some of their stuff. So I got a new water. It's a platypus 3-liter gizmo. Let's see if it works. So the wind's picked up a little bit. I need to go get some firewood. The people who camped here must have been recently left me a little bit, but it's supposed to get down below freezing tonight, so I'm guessing it's going to get chilly once the sun goes down. So I want to make sure that I got a warm campfire. My hammock is all set up. I'll show you that in just a couple of seconds. And would you look at this? We have water. All right, so I think I can clamp it off. And I have filtered water. Well, that works slick. All right. Happy as a pig in a poke. Here we are all set up. Got the radio on. Having my coffee. So I left Amory at, I don't know, like 6:30, I think, pretty much by the time I got out of town. Made it to Ely by 10:30, I think it was. I was pretty much on the water by about 11:30. Took me an hour to get through the port, hour and a half to get here where I am right now, maybe closer to 2 hours. And another hour or so to set up. I've been diddling around. thought I might need to go out and look for some campfire wood. I may go for a paddle tonight anyway and do that, because that's why I'm here, is to paddle. But I did make my coffee. Listen to the rest of the Brewers game. They're getting beat by Kansas City. So it's the black flies are everywhere. How about that? Never thought that was going to happen. But we do have flies out. So might have to pull out the thermocell here in a little bit. But this is beautiful. I am all alone. There were about 5 cars in the parking lot. I did see one group. So this spot here, if you take a look, I went and paddled. You can see it's in the burn area. You can really see it right here. But this is the campsite that I stayed on when I had COVID. Because it was all that was left, and I really didn't want to go that far. But I tested positive for COVID, and Laura and I both did, I think, at about the same time. It was like in 2020. Anyway, I sat at home for a couple days. We got bored. And I decided I might as well get quarantined on the Boundary Waters. I mean, the worst that could happen is I got sick, but I really wasn't feeling anything at all. And I'd already been like 5 days, and back then it was like a 10-day quarantine. So I came, this is where I stayed, and all I remember is it rained like a banshee. It was beautiful coming out, and then it rained that night, and it rained all through the night. Everything I had was soaked, and yeah, I remember that. So this is COVID camp. You see it's way up on top of a hill. That's what I liked about it, except when it when it rained, as you can see, there was nothing. So right down here, if I recall, I basically tied something to that tree, and I put, oh no, I put 2 sticks out is what I did. 2 sticks up in the air and put a tarp, and I sat over the fireplace and just got soaked. All the water ran right down the hill, right to where I was sitting on the bench right here. And then I camped. My tent was right there, and that wasn't so bad. And I ended up having to, this log right here, the next morning I ended up having to dry everything out because everything was soaked, except for the stuff that had been in the tent. So I dried it all out. I actually, over there, I hung up a rope and made a clothesline and whatnot. But I got an idea that back in the day, before the Pagami fire, that this was a beautiful campsite. Because, and the interesting thing is I look, now it's been, you know, 3.5 years since I camped here, and it really hasn't grown up that much at all. As a matter of fact, it actually looks worse than what I'd seen before. So there's not as much growth here. Now it could be that I'm here in the spring and there's no leaves, and it might make a difference that way. But if you look out, you can kind of see where the fire was out in those areas, and you can see some spots where it's growing up pretty good and some spots where it's not. If you look way over there where it's green, that's actually a place that the fire was there, but the Forest Service was able to put water on it before the fire burned the campsites. We got a pile of beaver wood, so we can have a campfire tonight. So that's cool. Now straight ahead is our island. So we're paddling back home. It's after 6 o'clock on Wednesday night. I did see, I went over to by Lake 3, and there were 3 very loud kayaks, heavy on the yak, paddling in there, so I turned around. Didn't need to argue with them today. new scratches. They're my scratches. So that is my new canoe, Winona Ryder. Well, actually, it is a Winona. Her name is Ryder, named by Haley. We named her Ryder. It's stuck. One of my other videos, you can see the first time I took it out, but today is the first day it's been up in the wilderness. And the first camping trip that it's been on. So what I know is this. I didn't have a real big load because it's just me. So and I'm only here for a couple of days. So as far as you know, having a giant load, I don't have one. But it sure, that Prism, holy moly, she just carried the weight just fine. I think I got it. Trying to get a little fire going. It's been raining the last few days, so it's hard to really get her going. But I think we got enough of a coal going. So we got cap chow from Trail Center, and tonight we are having cheddar beef goulash. Uh-oh, I lost my glasses. That's not good. Nope, I found them. Never mind. Cheddar beef goulash, 840 calories of this baby. Darn right. Now the fire took off. So, we'll see how it works out. We're boiling the water. I don't know if you can see that. The fire is for warmth because we have a frost advisory or frost warning tonight. Widespread frost, so it's already starting to get chilly. It was a beautiful warm day today. But it'll get cold tonight. So let's try to stay warm now. Got my warm sleeping bag. Picked up a used 0-degree one at Paragus this morning. So we'll see how that works. It was like dirt cheap, so hopefully we don't freeze. That's how you do it without cutting your hands wide open. FYI. And we let it dry. This was a fallen over birch tree that was back in the woods. I saw it from my canoe, so I pulled it. I hate when people pull and cut branches right on the shoreline. It just looks stupid. Oh, there we go. Cliff Jacobson would be proud of me. Well, the food is good. I just slopped it all over myself. I'm sure a bear will come and want to lick my leg now. Even in the wilderness, I'm a pig. Severe weather is not expected. Spotter information statement. Cheddar goulash from Trail Center. Nothing wrong with it.
The areas affected include central St. Louis, North St. Louis, and northern and Lake counties. This includes the tribal lands of the Fort Man, Lake Vermilion, and Lake areas. Recreation spots such as Glacier National Park. The entire boundary waters
That's a big beaver.
The following events are expected. Frost could harm sensitive outdoor vegetation. Sensitive outdoor plants may be killed and left uncovered.
You can't see me. It's in the middle of the night. But I'm wondering if you can hear what's keeping me awake. Well, it's morning. It's a cold one. We got frost. I had loons singing all night long. That was fun. And then this morning when I woke up to splashing. I couldn't figure out what it was, so I got out of my hammock quick, and the loons were out there doing their business. I'd never watched that before. I feel like I should send them something. But it's a beautiful day in the wilderness. Like I said, this is such a short trip. I'm already starting to feel sad. But I think today we're going to go for a paddle. I'm going to explore this island. And I want to also get I got to fix my hammock a little bit. The head end is too low, so that's got to get fixed. And then I also want to figure out how to use this portage. I got a removable portage yoke for Ryder, and I couldn't get it to work right yesterday. It was slipping and falling, and it wasn't sitting right. So I'm going to mess around with that here while I'm on dry land and have no pressure on. So those are the tasks of the day. Not much, is there? Basically, it's just do whatever I want whenever I want. I did want to show you my hammock setup that I had. Cliff Jacobson says, when you have stakes and ropes, use stakes and ropes. So I use stakes and ropes. Keeps it from rattling at night during the wind, which you can see it's a beautiful location where we slept, where I slept. And yeah, I'll take you inside. I hung up my Lucy lights. They're on the inside. This makes it really nice at night. So once I get in here, I got lights so I can see what I'm doing. I don't have to use my head mat. The Climate hammock pad that I have actually worked really, really, really well. Now in my hammock I have a split in here so you can put a pad in, but I put that in along with my under quilt here and my Paragus cheap 0-degree sleeping bag, and we had frost this morning and it was fine, no problem. But yeah, don't really need the mosquito net, but that comes with it. So everything worked out great. Comfy and cozy. I like having the tarp down on windy days because it just keeps you that little bit warmer. So a little bit warmer. And everything goes under there. Now tomorrow morning, I'm going to want to make sure to have everything packed up because it's supposed to rain. So there we are. I'm going to go get some breakfast. It's a beautiful morning on Lake 2. It's quiet. I'm gonna go get my Kindle and do some Devo. This is God's glorious tapestry. You know, the Bible says all you have to do is look and you see evidence of God everywhere. And he created all of this for us. He said to have dominion over it. And dominion didn't just mean to rule, but dominion meant to enjoy it. God said it was good. And it is. All right, we're gonna go up a river, heading towards what's called dangerous waters. There's apparently a old Lake 2 dam up here, which I'm guessing is from the logging days. So we are gonna go find it as we tour the lake today. This is a pretty little, I don't know if it's an inlet or an outlet. I guess we'll find out when we get to the dam. I think it's an outlet. So I changed my mind. I'm not going all the way up there. The wind is blowing so hard. And I can't, it's pretty shallow. And there's little tiny, tiny rocks and rapids, but I don't want to hit anything with my canoe. And mostly I don't want to paddle up that stuff because it's just not worth it. But that's what it looks like. So like I said, it's not a rapids, it's just, but I can see there's rocks all the way across, and I don't want to paddle up hard against the wind because the wind's coming right down that tunnel like wherever. I think the campsite is just up here a few hundred yards, but again, I'll live. I think I'm going to go find Rifle Lake. Here we're just checking out a campsite. This is the campsite right before the portage, I think, into Rifle Lake. Not such a bad one. You can't really see a decent place that I could hang a hammock. I don't know, you probably can't see it here, but I can see some yahoos were stripping a birch tree. And oh look, the birch tree is dying. How about that? People are so stupid. So stupid. Yeah, we're just tooling around now. We got out of that dangerous water area. I'm gonna hit a rock. Don't do that. Now we're gonna go trying to find a portage and see if we can go find another couple lakes that are out in the bush. Now we're taking a look here to see if we can find this portage. The map says it's right at the end of this. Ooh, there's a big rock that we didn't see. So there's a bog here. I don't think that's it on that side. The map says that it goes left. Looks like people have sat over there, maybe had a picnic or something. It's kind of worn down on the other side. Let's see what we got. It's a 67 rod portage into Rifle Lake, so I'm kind of thinking I want to portage and see what's up. Oh, there's a gigantic tree. Let's see if we can find it here. or if we hit a rock first. If we hit a rock, we're out. Let me see here on the map. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. There comes the wind. There's another rock. Ooh. That's what it sounds like when they're down there. Oh, I have a swan. How about that? Well, she's not gonna be happy. She's sitting in a nest. But I don't see a portage here either, so... Oh, there's two of them. Yeah, they're gonna be torqued. Hey, do you guys know where the portage is? Huh? Huh, there's a creek. Does my map show a creek? Oh, maybe. Aha! I think I see a portage. I think it's over here. Sorry, swans. Yeah, don't... Yeah, you gave me the wrong directions. Don't hide your heads. This is Rifle Lake. It's a little lake. There's one campsite here. I'm all alone. Nobody's on this lake. It looks like there was one set of tracks that went in. And whoever it was, I don't know if it was the Forest Service or if it was somebody, but they cleared out a bunch of deadfall that had fallen down on the portage. And let me tell you, this portage is a bear. So I'm at the portage right now, but I just want to show you the first hill. There we go up. There's some gigantic white pines on this portage. It's gorgeous. But I don't know if you're going to be able to get a... Well, first off, here's a gigantic white pine. Matter of fact, I should just get my... I don't know if you can see how big it is compared to me. This thing is gigantic. And this is not the biggest one on the trail. So there's that. But then when you portage, it's a 67 rod portage. You see these rocks? You have to go over those. So right here is the hill that you go up and down. So this is how old people break hips. I can't imagine doing this one on the when it's slippery or rainy or whatnot. But it's a character builder. It's not real long, but there's a couple of big hills like this in here. So if you're afraid of that and you want to come into this lake. So I'm heading back yet on the Rifle Lake portage. I just wanted to tag you along. First off, I don't know if you can see how big these cedar trees are here, but they are ginormous. So there's a bunch of cedars in here. And then of course, as we walk, this is the portage. If any of you want to know what a real portage looks like, we have hit one. Not some of these big highways that lots of people go on. This is a legit portage. Character builders. We just crossed through a swamp. You can see this one gets used quite a bit because it's pretty obvious. Sometimes some of the portage trails get pretty grown up if they don't get used a lot. There's actually one guy who just last year, over the course of the years, he's paddled the entire Boundary Waters barefoot. And he has gone through every single portage in the Boundary Waters. They call him the Barefoot Paddler. It's a great interview to listen to on the WTIP podcast. Anyhow, like I said, this one's it gets used. The path here actually goes from Rifle Lake, and then it goes up a little bit through another lake. There's a 157 rod portage, and then it goes out, I think, into Lake 4 eventually. Maybe Fire Lake first, but it comes out in Lake 4. So if you want to paddle a loop around from where I was today, you can do that. However, I'm not paddling a loop. I'm just exploring. First trip of the year, so it's not like I'm out to bust my chops. I don't know if you can see how big this tree is. My goodness. I don't know what killed that thing, if that was a blow down or maybe the fire, but it doesn't look like the fire went through here. But that is one big white pine. That's 7 feet around at the bottom. It's amazing when you think of it that this entire forest in the pre-logging days, back when the Ojibwe were the only ones here, that those trees were the norm. Oh, look at that. That's wintergreen. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop and chew one. So that's wintergreen. And if you ever see it, whoops. Wintergreen. Fun to chew. And you know what it tastes like? Wintergreen. Hello, little friends. I found my way in spite of your poor directions. You know, a lot of people try to stay away from the burn areas, and I get it. Camping's hard, but I just saw a nice campsite a few minutes ago. That was part of the burn area. I love these burn areas because you get to see so many different, parts of the topography that you wouldn't see when the trees are all over. You get to see the growth of the forest. Now this is early in the year, so nothing is green, so I can see through. A lot of this stuff would be brushed up with green leaves. But this is Pagami Fire regrowth through here, and I think it's beautiful. You can see, if you look at that tree right there, you can still see some of the charred remains. I think the fire was in 2011, and it burned for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. I'd like to go walk up through there, but there's so much dead and down timber that it's not worth it. But you can still see the remnants of charred timber through here, which is really kind of cool. So I am off to, there's a PMA, primitive management area over this way. I'm just going to see if I can find where the old trail was, or if there's a way into it. Most of the PMAs, they're not managed anymore, but some of them used to be, and they used to have campsites and things. But the Forest Service doesn't take care of them anymore. You need special permits in order to camp in them. Just for the fun of it, I want to go see if I can find one. It's getting late in the day here. I've been paddling most of the day, so this heads to Rock Island Lake, and I believe there used to be a portage here, or some people bushwhack it. I didn't do enough research to figure out where. So I'm not going to go into that mess and then have to turn around. It could be right over to the side here, it looks like, but that I think that's beaver. It's been working that. I'm sure somebody knows and somebody's done it. I think you can bushwhack all the way to Clearwater Lake from here, but I don't know how. There used to be a portage. I remember seeing maps. But again, I don't have a clue, so we're not gonna go down that road. I might just land over here just to get a quick look at things, but that'll be it. Okay, I lied. I decided to bushwhack. I can see the remnants of an old portage trail. There's just you can see little bits that people have been walking on it. I've gotten to a beaver dam. The lake's got to be right up around there. You can kind of see the remnants. It goes up this way. There's actually a log right here that got cut. So the Forest Service at one day or another was in here. It's a long, long time ago. And then the portage goes off this way. So I'm going to keep walking until I get lost. That's all I'm going. I have hit a rock. Now I'm sure if I had a canoe, I could have bushwhacked to here and then paddled back over. There's another beaver dam right there, and then up and over again. As I'm walking out, I just want to record this here. These are the remnants of the old trail, and it goes off that way. And I can kind of see where I think it went. I walked over that way towards that beaver dam, way down there. And I wonder if the trail goes that way and cuts around the back. I've got an old map that has the old portage trail on it. But like I said, unless I don't want to go get lost. No sense having a rescue out here. I think it goes underneath this big tree that fell over. But you can see as I walk, look at this. I think probably part of it is people just coming up this far and then turning around. But there are, this is definitely, there's deer tracks. Definitely an old portage trail right here. So a lot of people ask at my age, how come I do this by myself? Don't I get scared? What if I'm out here and something happens? I literally have had this entire lake to myself for the last couple of days. And doesn't your family get worried? I'll tell you a couple of different things. First off, when I go with somebody, it's no big deal. But going by myself, I understand, especially as I get older. It's how old people break hips, right? But I think what I do is, first, I'm just extra safe. As you could tell, even today when I decided not to bushwhack anymore, it's not worth getting lost or hurt where nobody can find you. I stick to more used routes when I'm by myself. I carry this. This is my Zoleo. So my Zoleo acts as both a SOS, where if you press a button, if you get hurt, it'll mark your location and it calls in somebody, to rescue you for the most part. But it also, it works, so it Bluetooths to my phone, but it works through a satellite, so you don't have to have cell phone service at all in order to use it. But it allows me to be able to hit a button so that Laura knows or the kids know where I am. It'll send my latitude and longitude when I, hit that button. It allows me to send a text message if I need to via the satellite, and allows Laura to be able to text message me. So it keeps me in contact, and I think that makes everybody a little bit more comfortable, and myself included. Again, if I go with somebody, we'll go deep and hard. It's as far as I can get in. But when I'm with myself, I understand that I'm not getting any younger. So that works. The other cool thing about the Zoleo is I press it once and I can get a weather forecast, which is very helpful. It gives you kind of the hours, so when storms or whatnot are coming in. But yeah, that's what I do. It also, keeps me in contact if I need to go back, if something were to happen or whatever else. Laura can get a hold of me in an emergency too. I think I sent one message here. And the other thing is, I know some people are really anti-technology, but if I have cell service, I keep my cell phone on. Doesn't hurt, again, with my age. So not that I'm ancient, but you know what I mean. Most places up here don't have cell coverage, but they do. And when they do, I'm not ashamed or afraid to use it. I know some people get very upset and think it should be banned, for crying out loud, but you know, float your own float and trip your own trip. So that's my thing. All right, time to go get supper. No filming this morning. There was rain in the forecast, so I got up at 6, threw my crap together, and got in there. I wanted to film a little bit of the portage here between Lake 2 and Lake 1. I packed my GoPro away, so I've got it on my phone, and I'm going to tell you the story when I get done here about it turning from May to July in about 5 minutes. So I just passed another guy at the portage. Nobody is waiting at the portages for anybody. Literally, there were 6 groups at the second portage going into Lake 2. Everybody just piling in at the same time. You can see, here he comes. Good grief, people. Paddling out. Just getting to the Narrows. Grandpa went that way last time we were here, but we're supposed to go this way. So, it's been a great trip. I got a loon. I don't want to leave, but you can see how dark the sky is. So yeah, it's going to rain and I want to get out of here as fast as I can. So we'll sum up the trip with some pictures in just a little bit. My next trip is coming up basically in a month, a little less than a month. Actually, I'm going paddling next weekend, and we'll have a thing on that, video on that as well. We're going into the Chippewa flowage. My next Boundary Waters trip about a month from now with Ryan. And there, we are heading to Sagagana. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed making it. This is the Narrows into the Cooshiwee River. All done.